I don't really think that's exactly why she's calling in, but I want to make sure I squeeze in a question about that. She's on the phone with us to talk to us about the ways to treat the mother and the baby at the same time, safe medications for use in pregnancies. Good morning, Dr. Lynn. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And I apologize apparently we had some really bad phone problems before, and so thank you for calling back.
Oh, no problem.
Where are you calling from, by the way?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. So it's pretty nice there, right? It's a little bit cool. It's cool here in Florida.
Yes, it's a little cool. They said we might get some snow flurries today, so we shall see.
No way. Really? See, I'm jealous. I want to get, everybody says they don't like the snow, but I would love to see some snow. Are you the same way?
It's okay occasionally.
So, okay, can I squeeze in the question that you're probably not really here to talk about in the Zika virus? Is that something we need to worry about?
Well, this is actually something that we can't discuss right now on this particular call, but we can definitely put you in touch with our press officers after this interview,
Okay.
And they can answer more questions about Zika.
Okay, so today we're focusing on safe medication in pregnancies, right?
Correct.
For both the mother and the baby.
Yes.
Okay. So are there any that in the past we thought were safe but no longer believe they are safe?
Well, what we're here to talk about is a new study that we had where we found that about 1 in 7 U.S. reproductive age women with private insurance fill an antidepressant prescription each year. And so that shows us that antidepressant use is pretty common. And so that highlights the need for more research about antidepressant use during pregnancy. There have been some conflicting reports that potentially links some antidepressants with certain birth defects. And so it's important for us to understand the trends in use of antidepressants in women of reproductive age.
What exactly was discovered?
Well, in this study, it was just looking at the use of it. And so we wanted to see how common it was for women of reproductive age to use antidepressants because of previous literature that showed some conflicting reports. And so some of the birth defects that have potentially been linked are defects of the brain, belly, heart, and skull.
Oh, my goodness.
And so because of that, we wanted to see how common it was for women of reproductive age to use antidepressants.
And when you're talking about reproductive age, is there more of an issue when they're in their 30s and 40s as opposed to being in their 20s?
Well, we understand that many women need to use antidepressants during pregnancy, and so we're not encouraging women to stop or change their medication routine without first talking to the healthcare provider. I mean, every woman is unique, and so it's really a discussion between a woman and her healthcare provider which treatments would be better. But because so many pregnancies in the United States are unplanned, about 50% of all pregnancies are unplanned, it's important that we target women of all reproductive age and not just pregnant women.
I have never heard of women taking antidepressants before while they were pregnant. Is there a real problem?
Well, what we looked at in this study was just reproductive age. We didn't look specifically at pregnancy. But again, like I said, many women need to take it and continue taking the medications during pregnancy. And so it would be encouraged for women and their doctors to have these conversations so they can determine what the best treatment is for each woman during pregnancy.
So assuming that a woman has been prescribed an antidepressant, does she, just kind of take us by the hand on this one, or take her by the hand. The lady who's listening right now, and she says, gosh, my husband and I would think we should maybe try to have a baby. Should she stop taking the antidepressant before she gets pregnant, or what is the conclusion?
Absolutely not. So what we would encourage her to do is go to talk to her healthcare provider and have these open conversations and dialogues, letting them know that they're potentially planning a pregnancy. The best time to discuss the safety of any medication would be before a woman becomes pregnant. So, it would be great if they were able to have those conversations before she becomes pregnant. That way they can try different treatment options and discuss different options before she even gets to that point. But if she is already pregnant, again, don't stop or change her medication routine. Talk to her doctor, and they can decide what the best treatment option is for her.
Does the baby typically? This would be a question maybe for all medications. Does the baby typically have to have a cooling off period after he or she is born? If in other words, if they've had medications in their blood because of sharing the mother's blood, once they're born, do they have a cold turkey experience?
Well, it depends. Every medication is different. With some antidepressants, there are sometimes some effects after the baby is born from being exposed to the medications. But again, having open conversations with healthcare providers and them being aware of what the mother is taking, they're better prepared to handle any issues or any observations that they need to make when the baby is born.
The March of Dimes is a big player in the whole birth defects message, and we have a really wonderful chapter of March of Dimes here in Ocala. Are they a good resource for the listeners who are interested in learning more?
Absolutely. CDC and March of Dimes have been partnering for many years, and we're actually partnering together currently with other federal agencies and the public to provide better information to women and their health care providers through our Treating for Two Safer Medication Use in Pregnancy initiative. And what Treating for Two is really focused on is providing better research and reliable guidance so that women and healthcare providers can make more informed decisions about treatment options during pregnancy.
And when a woman gets pregnant then, and she's not on antidepressants, but then all of a sudden her doctor feels she must be, is that a good thing?
Well, again, many women need to be treated, for depression and take antidepressants during pregnancy. So, again, we're not encouraging women to stop or change or not take medications that they need. We just want them to have these conversations with their healthcare provider, and then they can decide what the best treatment option is.
Does this go beyond the antidepressants? Are there other medications that are included in the survey?
Absolutely. So we're looking. We've started so far. Last year we looked at opioid use during women of reproductive age, and then this year we're looking at antidepressants. So we're trying through the Treating for Two initiative to get a better understanding of what medications women are taking in the reproductive age years, and then that is informing more research so that we can provide better guidance.
Are there sometimes antidepressants that are laced within birth control pills, or is that a separate issue?
That's a separate issue.
That would be interesting. Okay, this is an interesting topic. Dr. Jennifer Lind is our guest. And by the way, I neglected to mention, you've got some pretty impressive credentials of your own. It says here you are the Lieutenant Commander in the United States Public Health Service. That's pretty cool right there.
Thank you.
And looking for snow in Atlanta. So that I can relate to that part. So where the listeners who are interested in this, and here's a question. The doctors who are listening, are they on top of this as much as they should be, or do we need to educate them as well?
Well, absolutely. Again, what we're encouraging as far as healthcare providers are to make sure they're discussing the risks and benefits of any medication that they're prescribing to women of reproductive age. So that's a great question. And just remembering, too, that because 50% of all pregnancies in the United States are unplanned, that whenever they're writing a prescription to a woman of reproductive age, that they might be treating for two. So just keeping that in the back of their mind as well. Yeah.
Does this extend to supplements like vitamins and sometimes the herbal things that people use?
All medications, all herbals, and all supplements should definitely be a part of that conversation. I know a lot of times people forget to mention that when they go to their healthcare providers, but it's important that they let them know everything that they're taking so that they can have that more informed discussion.
And what if the males are taking antidepressants? Can that, make its way into the baby?
We haven't done research on that as of yet, but definitely there is a need for more research.
Okay, let's make sure that our listeners have the information they need to look into this further. Obviously, a radio interview is only scratching the surface. Dr. Lind, can you recommend a website?
Absolutely. We have a wealth of information on both websites. So on the CDC website, you can put in cdc.gov/treating-for-two. or type in Treating for Two on the CDC homepage in the search box.
Okay.
And then we also have information on the marchofdimes.org website.
Marchofdimes.org. Is there one marchforbabies.org? Is that a different one?
That's a different one.
Okay.
So marchofdimes.org.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information. We have recorded this interview. We'll share it with our listeners on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. And in addition to the videos that you'll be able to see and listen to, Robin will always make sure that the websites get posted in the text part of those postings. And in fact, if you go to WOCA.com right now and look at the guest list, you'll see at 9:20 Jennifer Lind's name and those two websites that Dr. Lind just mentioned. Dr. Lind, thank you for being on the air with us. I hope you get your snow.
Thank you so much.
I hope we do too. Hope we get our snow too. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. Denver's defense shows up at the Super Bowl.
Sack number 1, sack number 2, sack number 3, on and on and on and on.
Broncos fans celebrating a win over the Carolina Panthers, a game that may have been quarterback Peyton Manning's last.
Kind of let this sink in. It's been an emotional week, emotional night.
A parade is planned for tomorrow. The White House wants